Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Arnaud St. Paul, and I'm happy to be with you again today. And just checking a few things, making sure that it's actually working correctly. And let's see. Yes. Hello, hello. So again, very happy to be here today. Let's share our screen and we're going to be able to start right away. The first presentation of the new year, which is about wisdom. So why wisdom? I guess at this beginning of the year, we're here to see beyond what we are foreseeing today. We are looking to have a bit of wisdom in what is to come around in our world, what it is that we want to have as a vision and what we want to live, right, for the new year. And so wisdom is a space where we can, as an entrepreneur, as an individual, as a leader of our life, to be there for it and release any preconception, any expectation, so that we can be present to our inner truth. So wisdom is also that, right? It's in listening intently to that truth that resides within and enables us to really become more present to ourselves. That's one, but also to enable that truth to unveil itself and maybe be part of that vision for the year, right? What if I could be, by being more present to myself, be more in truth with myself, and therefore optimize, to take a mental word, the outcome. In other words, optimize the probability of the actual end result. So wisdom helps to that too. It helps us to make choices that are a bit more enlightened, a bit more sure, a bit more secure and safe, and at the same time, daring, paradoxically speaking. So they can be safe and daring because we are really connecting with that truth that transcends whichever concepts, limitations, projections you may have. So wisdom is there also taking into account all your experiences, your past experiences, your current experience, and enables you to, married with your intuition, to foresee what is to come. So wisdom is really an amazing tool for us to consider and use in our day-to-day. Let's dive deeper into that, if you don't mind. And before, let's talk about WHOS for a second. So WHOS is a weekly Harmony online session, and it's there to help you change the world and by providing you support every week. It's guided by a 30-year research that I led, creating the Heartful Method. And each week we revisit a core concept of our reality. I invite you to go through the archive on LinkedIn. You will see a lot of different concepts like compassion, trust, serendipity, and so on. And with these, you can really enter into more alignment and coherence with yourself. The purpose of that is to create, through alignment, through harmony, a more symphonic you, or whether it's business or personal, it's the same thing. And so by being more symphonic, how does that translate in your day-to-day? Well, simply everything becomes easier, becomes lighter, more peaceful. You have more presence with yourself. You feel happier, and you are able to really handle in an easier and easier way all the challenges that are coming your way. Actually, you don't name them challenges anymore, but opportunities to learn about yourself. So please join us after this presentation to make a free trial of our Q&A live Q&A that happens on Zoom, and you can, come to tapwad.com/who's free and participate, ask questions, be with us, right? And be part of the discovery of you, right? That's the important thing. So let's start with the definition. This year we're starting with definition of the what comes from the dictionary. The quality, the wisdom, which is a noun, is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, the quality of being wise. So by combining experience, knowledge, and good judgment, we have wisdom according to the dictionary. Now, let's look at it from a different angle, if you don't mind. Let's look at what is wisdom and how does it work really in our day-to-day. First, let's start with a quote from Alan Watts: "You're a function of the whole universe, which is doing the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing." In other words, you are the embodiment of the whole universe, like the wave is the embodiment of the whole ocean, because there's no separation from one to the other. In other words, it's a constant flow. You as a being is the flow or the crest of such wave that is being expressed. So the universe is expressing itself through you. And that concept of flow is very important. And that's what we're going to look into further, because that's the key to all that wisdom that we're talking about. So if you were in the last session, you would recognize this slide. That I that we're talking about, what if it has the capacity to change? So if you imagine like your essence is like that white light, right? And you know that white light, when it diffracts, it becomes a series of colors, like on this beautiful painting here. And so it happens when it goes through a prism. And that prism could be, in this case, your life choices, your DNA, your family you chose when you were born, the society, the education, and so on. And through this prism of your life, you have been able to explore a certain aspect of your life until you make new choices, until you make conscious choices. And these aspects, let's imagine for a second that it's only the red, for instance, the red, which in our chart would be the equivalent of exploring fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame, all the lower range emotions. Obviously, it's not the case. You can explore other emotions as well. But let's say for the exercise here that this is the average of the emotion that you are exploring throughout your life. What if you could expand that average and maybe even grow in terms of frequency so that you can explore not just the red, but also the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple. And you can have access to the whole range, or even have your average grow gradually towards more peace, joy, gratitude, and love. What if it is possible, right? And that happens in your flow of life. That happens when you are being part of reality, of that flow of life, that you are looking at it, you're observing it, but you are always in synchrony with it, right? So we're looking at, you are part of the ocean, you're the wave. And as such, you are moving with the ocean. It's not static. It's not where there is separation between one and the other. So you are part of the world, and at the same time, you are not. In other words, it's coming from a place of particle to a place of being a wave, like it is proven in quantum physics, from thoughts to emotions to physical, and vice versa. So what we call physical that we say is real comes from emotions, which themselves are coming from thoughts. So, and which don't seem to be real, although they are as real as the physical world. What if all this would be a constant flow with ebb and with flux and reflux, with ebb and flow? And so it is a constant movement towards a goal, a vision that is only yours to be discovered. That concept of flow is very important, as we will see, because this is where we can start looking at I as an entity, I guess, that is constantly evolving. And in that world where everything becomes vibration, because everything, the thoughts, the emotions, the physical, the table or the chair on which you sit are vibrations. So that implies that all of a sudden it becomes easier to consider this idea. And likewise, I am able now to go beyond just the little range and explore all the different ranges. All the ranges is what we call the self. It is the inclusion of all the possibilities of what I can be, right? For that to happen, we have to let go of this idea of I am to be this or that. I have to experience just fear, grief, apathy, like in our first example, and allow ourselves to be guided to lead with courage, with optimism, with forgiveness, with understanding, with gratitude. It is possible, it is in your grasp to do it now. Now, obviously, it cannot happen if you're not willing for it to happen. And as long as you continue to insist on the need of being that, meaning the pride guy or lady or the angry one, etc. Therefore, the other states are not available to you at that moment until you choose otherwise. So whether you are in a business situation or personal one, the same applies all the time. What brings us to more harmony and more love? In that world of vibration, you can have I that goes to self, and the more you open up to yourself, in other words, the more you open to your heart, the more harmony, the more love you live daily, in each moment. Again, it is only through your own wisdom and your own faith and your own trust that you will allow this to happen. It is only because you allow yourself to believe in what you can choose that this happens. And then you are able to transcend, a little bit like in this chart, in this paint here, transcend each and every dimension where you felt stuck, to allow yourself to grow out of it. And it is only by following your inner wisdom that you are able to do so, a bit like here, this little ray of light that goes beyond anything that you knew and allows you to discover what you can be. In other words, where you were before this conversation, or maybe this monologue, is a bit this. You believe that everything is tangible and immutable. So you may be able to change, yes, but nobody changes around you. Well, it's not exactly that. In reality, it's more like this, where the moment you change, you see the little heart here, everybody around you changes. This is the reality of what we call the vibrational reality. This is the reality of what I was describing a second ago. And to push it furthermore, what you believed earlier is more, the others are what they are. There is this house, there is these people, etc., and I am separated from them. I am therefore conditioned by my environment. Well, again, maybe not. If you choose differently, you could now live from a place where I am that I am. I am unconditional love. I'm a beacon of light. Why not? And all the others I am too. I am in their own world, number one, but number two, they are also a reflection of who I am, a facet. Each of them is a facet of me. And I explore that. It's an internal reflection of me throughout the continuum of my experience throughout my life. In other words, I see always myself in every single encounter, every meeting, every conversation, every dialogue that I'm having with anyone. I am living myself through the other. And that is a very powerful statement because it opens up to numerous and really magical discovery, and more importantly, a very optimized way of growing, whether personally or for your company, same thing. It enables you to grow faster and faster and faster. In other words, here's an equation that you may want to put on your fridge. R equal F of I. The reality is a function of I. Everything that I live, every situation is always defined primarily in the collection of beliefs and values and beliefs, that I hold dear to, that I believe are true. And therefore, reality provides such truth, not the other way around. So the moment I choose with wisdom, the moment I decide which beliefs are important to me, which thoughts, which emotions I should act with, immediately, instantly, reality will respond with whatever is adequate in that moment, matching that frequency that was emitted by I. In other words, imagine your I like a string of a guitar, and it's always vibrating in a certain way. Maybe it's a C, maybe it's a D, etc. It's probably a collection of different notes anyway. It's on different octaves. And by changing slightly one little aspect of that string, the rest of the instruments will vibrate accordingly, differently as well. It's exactly the same principle here. So memorize well this formula, because if you can live by that, you're golden in this early 2023. To finish it up, here is a quote from Ramana Maharshi, a wise man from the early 1900s. Pure consciousness, the self of or the heart, is the final realization. So it may feel a bit beyond our scope today, but the bottom line is, it is by following our heart that we are able to open to ourselves. The more we do that, the easier it gets. And more importantly, the more dreams that we have in our essence, in our heart, will actually come true, because you are already living them anyway. Now, we're going to go through, I'll ask you to close your eyes, and I'm going to read the poem about wisdom and as a meditation. So let's meditate together on wisdom for a few minutes. Ready? Take a deep breath. Wisdom. Traveling towards itself, I discovers more of itself, earns and recovers its divine image, from heart to mind, from mind to heart. Transcending illusion, I reflects. Seeing beyond itself, I deflects. Sensing a deeper I is beyond itself. Through the knowledge of it, I speaks words of guidance. Through the I of the other, bear my words, for they are words of truth, beyond the chasm of reality, directly from the source of love. Thank you so much for listening and being there for this short meditation. Now we're going to go into the live Q&A. So if you want to join, please scan this QR code or subscribe on tapweb.com/whosfree. And I'll see you on the other side.